Hello and welcome back to my kitchen. Today I felt like doing a little bit of baking, so I thought I would bring you guys along while I made some shortbread cookies that have a little bit of a jam filling. Here in America we call them a jam-filled cookie, but in other countries I hear they are called Jammie Dodgers. So the ingredients that we are going to need today are 2 cups of all-purpose flour that I've gone ahead and pre-sifted, as well as 1 cup of confectionery or powdered sugar, and I've already gone ahead and pre-sifted it as well. We also need a half of a teaspoon of salt, 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract, 2 egg yolks, and a cup plus 2 tablespoons of butter. And you're going to want a really good quality butter for this. Today I'm going to be using the Kerrygold Pure Irish butter. I find it works the best in this recipe, as well as some jam. And you can use either homemade or store-bought. Today I'm using store-bought just because I'm out of my homemade raspberry jam. I typically see these with either a raspberry jam filling or a strawberry jam. My personal favorite is the raspberry, so that's why we're going with that. Alright, to get started, the first thing we need to do is move some of our ingredients out of the way. And I'm going to go ahead and add my confectionery sugar into my flour. Now typically you would sift these together, but since I wanted to show the ingredients off separately, I've gone ahead and sifted them into separate bowls. But when you're making this, just go ahead and you know, measure them and then sift them all together. And I'm going to drop in my salt, and then I just want to give these a stir to make sure they are well incorporated. Alright guys, the next thing we need to do is add our butter, and you want to make sure your butter is really cold for this. I took it out of the refrigerator just before I started recording the video, so it should be still really cold. And you want to take your, you want to cut your butter into small pieces like I've done. And we're just going to dump it all straight in. And then taking a pie cutter or a pastry cutter, you want to go in and start cutting your butter into your flour, just like you were going to make a pie crust or a biscuit recipe. And you want to keep doing this until it breaks down into really small granules and gets well incorporated in with your flour. And if you need to, you can go in here and do this with your fingers. You just want to be careful that you don't warm your butter up too much. We don't want it to melt, but we do want to get it incorporated in. While I'm doing this, I would like to remind you guys of the Gamers and Geeks playlist that JP and I have going on our channels. If you would like to be a part of that, it's really easy. All you have to do is go out and make a cooking video and then post it to your channel. And once you've done that, let either JPIC or I know in the comment section of our latest cooking videos, or if you're a part of our Discord servers, you can let us know over there as well. So I think this is starting to look pretty good. I think we're pretty much there. Looks like the butter and the flour have all been well incorporated. Yeah, I think that's definitely good. So let me get this cleaned off, and we will go ahead and move on to the next step. Alright guys, at this point what we want to do is take our eggs and our vanilla extract and just whip them together really quickly. And then we're going to add our eggs straight into our dough. Alright, there we go. Now all we have to do is start mixing this together until it forms into a ball. And you're actually probably going to have to get in here with your hands and start mixing it to get it all together. At least that's what I typically end up having to do. Just make sure you've washed your hands and that they're very clean before you start handling your dough, which I have already done. So I'm going to go ahead and get in here and start mixing this up. Now this will take a little bit of time, but just be patient with it and it will eventually come together. Alright guys, as you can see, this is pretty much all together. I'm just going to bring it out here so I can continue trying to shape it into a ball and bringing all the remainder of the little pieces together. Alright guys, I've got the dough right where I want it. And now all we're going to do is wrap this up in some plastic wrap. And we're going to put it in the refrigerator for about 20 minutes. And what that's going to do is allow the butter to get cold again, just in case it's warmed up while I've been working with it. And that's going to actually help us once we get these in the oven. It'll prevent the cookies from spreading out too much. I think that's good, and I will see you guys in about 20 minutes. Alright guys, it's been about 20 minutes, and I've gone ahead and taken the dough out of the refrigerator. I've lightly floured my board, and now I'm just going to flour up my rolling pin. And you don't want to add too much flour, because we don't want to introduce too much more. It'll make the cookies tough. But we do need a little bit to prevent it from sticking. So now all we have to do is roll these out to about 1/8 of an inch thick. Now I always find when I do a rolled cookie, my edges tend to get a little bit thinner than the middle. So I like to go ahead and just trim it down and make sure it all feels about the same thickness. And what we're going to do is take our fluted We're going to take our fluted cookie cutter and just start cutting these out. Now you can use a regular cookie cutter if you want. You just need to use one that's big enough that it's going to allow you to cut a centerpiece out as well. So let me get this first row cut out. And then I like to skip a little bit of dough so I can go in and make sure that I end up with an even amount of both tops and bottoms. Now let me get this piece added in, and we'll go through and cut our top pieces now. Alright, once you've got your first batch cut out, take your scraps and gently bring them back together. You don't want to overwork it too much. Just re-roll it back into a circle shape, and then go ahead and reflour your board and start all over until you've used up all the dough. You just want to be really careful that you don't overwork it, because then your cookies will end up being tough, just like you don't want any extra or too much extra flour added into it. So let me go ahead and get the remainder of these all rolled out. Alright guys, I've got all the cookies cut out. I've got 3 trays so far. I still have a few more that need to go on a tray, but I'm going to go ahead and get the first 2 in the oven, and I'm going to be baking these on 350 degrees for about 8 to 12 minutes. It all depends on the way your oven cooks. You just need to keep an eye on them. And what we're looking for is just a light golden brown on the bottom. So I'll bring you guys back when they're done and when they've cooled slightly. Alright guys, our cookies are out of the oven. They've cooled down. And now all I'm doing is spreading a little bit of jam onto them. And you just want to barely take it up to the edge. and spread it out. You want to leave a little bit there bunched up in the middle so that it peeks out through the little hole in our top cookie. Kind of sandwich them down. And we're going to put them right back on our cookie sheet. Let me get the rest of these put together and I will bring you guys back. Alright guys, I've got the ones that I'm going to filled, and I'm going to pop them back in the oven for about 3 to 5 minutes just to let the jam heat up a little bit, and that'll cement the two cookies together. So I'll bring you guys back when after they've cooled down. Alright guys, our Jammie Dodgers are done. I did let them cool for about 10 to 15 minutes after I took them out of the oven. And then I just lightly dusted them with a little bit of powdered sugar just to finish them off. I've already gone ahead and tasted one of them. And that Kerrygold butter really adds a rich, buttery taste to these cookies, which is exactly what you're looking for in a shortbread cookie. If you guys will like this video, leave me a comment down below. If you tried this recipe out, let me know how it turned out for you. Remember to check out the Gamers and Geeks playlist as well as my other cooking playlists. I will leave links down in the description to them. But for now, as always, thank you so very much for joining me today. I've been Vault Girl. I hope you guys have enjoyed, and I hope I see you in the next one.